Hey, what's up you guys? How you guys been? Whoop, whoop, whoop. It's been a little while since I've sat down because I've been doing mostly travelling videos recently, so I thought I would sit down, talk a little bit more, ask you guys on my Instagram if you would like to see a video about Canada versus UK, study wise, so that's what I'm going to do today, and let's just hop right into it. Disclaimer, I know that everyone's experiences are different. I know that depending on your classes, your unis, and what subjects you take, your experiences will be very different. This is just my experience. And I am studying events management in the UK, and in Canada I was studying tourism. And of course all the classes and everything else I'm going to be talking about is purely based on what the lecturers decide to do and just how their system works, really. So now let's hop into it. So first thing I want to talk about is residency. This is an interesting one because I didn't live in residency back home. I lived at home, but I did have friends that lived in residency, so I got to see what the residency at my university was like versus the residency I stayed in when I was in Canada. In Canada, I lived in a village residency, and it's basically like a 3-story house type thing where you go down a stair and that's like your kitchen and your living area, and then like on the first floor you have like the entrance, and Rakshana's room is there and the bathroom. God, my brain is just fuzz today. Let's drink more tea. And then on the next level you had another room, which was my friend Alana's, and another bathroom which also had a shower. And then right at the very top you had my room and this other girl's room. So that was interesting. Now at Brock you had 6, and some of them you would have roommates, so that meant that you and someone else shared a room. There was 2 beds, symmetrical, or what this could also mean was that you and another person had your own rooms but they were joined by a bathroom. Now I'm quite lucky that I got village just because I preferred that kind of style, and it was also cheaper. It was like a house. So I got my own room. We had 2 bathrooms, so we could, if someone was in one bathroom we could go to another. There was only 1 shower, but I'm not going to complain about that because that's fine. But we all had our own space, which I liked. And if you compare that to the UK, from the one that I've seen, there's no roommates, but it's kind of set out similar to a flat / like apartment thing. So you all get your own room, but it's like a big hall and like a hotel kind of. And then at the end of the hall you have your kitchen, living area type of thing, but most likely it was just on 1 floor, and you could pay a little bit extra for a double bed, a little bit extra space. Whereas with village you got your twin bed, this amount of space, you can move the room around, but you have to put it back. I think that might be similar to the UK where you can move the room around, but I'm not too sure. I don't think any of my friends did move the furniture around. But yeah, I also found that it's easier in the UK to live at home. Obviously my university is just 2 bus rides away back home, whereas if you compare that to Canada, a lot of people need cars, and the bus service, although it was okay, it wasn't brilliant. So a lot of people who went to that uni either lived on campus, lived in this place called Lofts, or lived in St. Catherine's, which is kind of the area around Brock, but everyone was like there. Compared to the commutes in the UK where it's a train ride and sometimes it's not that long. So now I'm going to talk about the classes. So classes in Canada, I don't even know what side I'm pointing at anymore, but classes in Canada, you had a 3-hour lecture. Some people had seminars. I was lucky enough that I didn't need one. The seminars would roughly only be like an hour long compared to like the 3-hour lecture. And if you compare that to the UK, we have 1-hour lecture and 2-hour seminar. So it kind of works out the same. I know that some classes they would only have like a 2-hour lecture and a 1-hour seminar, so it did work out exactly the same, but again, this depends for every subject, but this is just what I experienced. So I had 3-hour lectures every single day apart from Friday. I got Fridays off, luckily, because I only had to take 4 classes. If I took a 5th class, then I would probably have one every single day, or like 2, 3 every day. When you compare that to the UK, I've only ever been in 3 days a week, maximum. Sometimes 2 days a week, if I'm lucky. But that would be like 2 full days. But since I lived on residency in Canada, it was nice to just not be in uni for the entire day, whereas in the UK, since I lived at home, it was nicer just to kind of get that break. So you'd work like 2 full days in uni, and then you'd have the rest of the days off. So carrying on with classes, I also found out that in Canada we got to pick our classes. I've never been allowed to pick a class in the UK, like I said, now this is different for some, but I know that we were allowed to pick one module the semester that I went to Canada. So, but you completely get to pick your own classes. I think for Canadian students that are there permanently, you have to consult with someone to make sure that you're picking like classes that are similar to your overall degree. Whereas at my uni back home in the UK, you just get your modules handed to you. And it's like, this is what you're studying. You might not want to study it, but this is what you're studying. So for this, I preferred the Canada way. I think overall I preferred the Canada way because I got to choose classes I was passionate about and interested, and I performed better purely because it wasn't something like finance where I was falling asleep. And I'm awful at maths, so don't trust me with any maths. So it was nice that I could learn about like ethics and animals and all that stuff to do with the tourism industry. So, and I do understand that when you're an events manager, you may need to come across, you know, finance and economics and law and all that stuff. But it just made a nice change that I got to choose stuff that I was interested in, and it still counted towards the overall thing. Just a quick little note, lecturers, they call them professors, you could call them lecturers. I think in like some of the higher up universities in the UK, you get made to call you a professor. Like,
I did not go through so many years of school to be called sir or ma'am or blah blah blah, I am professor.
It's like, get your head out your ass, man. You're just here teaching class like every other lecturer here. But I discovered that in the UK we used a lot of first names, so it was more like personal and you would interact that way. Attendance. So at my university back home, 9 times out of 10 you could not go to class. Most of the information would be online. However, it is beneficial of course if you do go to class, because then if there's something you don't understand you can get help and assistance with it. But in Canada, one of my classes you had to attend to get part of the mark. So I like how they did that. I'll go on to that in a little bit, but part of your grade came from you attending class. So there was that kind of like incentive to go and participate within class. And like I said, I only had 3-hour lectures, but they were very interactive, and I don't know, you had to evaluate yourself at the end of every week and stuff, and I don't know, it made me feel better about going when other people didn't, you know? Because sometimes I just feel like back home, when I attend class, it doesn't really matter. Like, I do attend class back home, obviously, but like, I could be getting a worse grade from someone who never attends class. Whereas this way, it slightly balances more. And last thing but not least, well, I'm going to talk about education-wise, is assignments. So I highly prefer the Canada way, which I will tell you. But I just kind of want to say it's a lot more work, but to me it's fairer. So basically in the UK we have one assignment and one exam, typically. Sometimes this will change between like classes, as I previously said, so maybe it might be one essay, one exam, or one presentation, one exam, you know, something like that, or one presentation, one assignment. But there's like two parts, unless you're doing something like science, which I believe you also have a lab thing. But mostly in the UK it's like 2-part thing. And then in Canada we had to do so much more, but like I said, it was a lot of work, but the grade was broken down. So you had one assignment that was worth like 25%, one assignment that was worth 10%, one that was worth 35%, and like maybe the exam worth 40%, like instead of it being like 60-40 or, you know, 50-50. And the reason why I preferred the Canada way is because I saw by experience that I failed one of the assignments in one of my classes, but it was only worth 10%. So because I did well in the exam and all the other assignments, I still got to pass the course. Whereas you don't really get that in the UK. Like in the UK you get reassessments. So if you fail an exam, you can try it up to 3 times, I believe. In my uni it's 3 times. And it still gets marked that you've had to retry. So it's a little bit, like you don't feel your best when it happens. Whereas for this one, you're still able to pass the course without passing all the assignments. So if I'm having a really bad day, as most of you know, I have depression, sometimes anxiety if I'm too much under stress. That part's a whole new thing to me, I won't get into that. But like, if I have a really bad day and I just can't get out of bed or I don't do so well in a particular assignment, I still get the opportunity to pass the class. And I don't know, I prefer that because I just feel like it's fairer. Like, not everyone's strong skill is presentation. People hate talking in front of class, but they might be really good at writing essays and really good at exams, so that it all balance out. That's just what I prefer. I know that it was a lot more work, but at the same time you're not in uni long, like terms are not long. We get long summers, so the terms aren't long, so it's okay to put in a lot of work during that time. But I saw people crying that they got a B. Well, not literally crying, but people very upset that they got a B. And here I am being very excited, being like, I'm getting better grades than what I am back home. This is amazing. And for someone who suffers a lot when it comes to stress and pressure, like, it's nice because you just takes a lot of the pressure off. Of course, there's still some pressure, like you still have to study and stuff, but it's less stressful because you know that you can either make up for it or you know that it's not worth so much. I don't know, just the fact that it's all spread out compared to the 1 and 2. Like during UK exams, I get so stressed. Last year I had to take a week out of uni. Like I said, I won't get into that, but I had to take a week out of uni because I was just so stressed. It made me ill. Whereas in Canada, I didn't get ill, you know, it was easier for my mental health, even though it's a lot of more work, which I guess doesn't make sense to a lot of people, but it made sense once you've done it, once you've been in it, so. Well, there you go guys, that is studying in Canada versus the UK. Of course, my overall opinion is I love both of them. I do prefer the system in Canada a bit better, but my uni life in the UK is amazing too. Of course, I've got my friends there, I've got some really funny lecturers, and even the classes that I do struggle with, there's always support offered to me. So don't worry, UK, still love you. So yeah, let me know if you'd like to know any other differences between the UK and Canada that isn't just education, words. But yeah, and next time you see me, I may not be in this setting anymore. I'm currently living in Rakshanna's auntie's basement, so thank you for Gently, you're great. Just while we're travelling and stuff, so yeah, I will see you guys next time.